You're listening to Happy Hour with Joby and Curtis. Okay, welcome back to HH. No, damn it, I messed
Happy
it
Hour
up
with Joby
already.
and Curtis.
What?
We got to give the
Hashtag JC Happy Hour. There we go.
yeah, we have to give the official name first and then the variations second.
I don't know. Just because when you're sitting here next to me, I feel funny about saying Happy Hour with Joby and Curtis, and then sitting next to me is Jason. So
In defense, the show is still the show. When you listen to ESPN Radio, it's the Mike and Mike show, always with guest hosts, or it's the Colin Cowherd show with guest hosts. The show is the show. It's
you
become
listen
its own.
to a lot of ESPN Radio.
Hey, football season, baby.
Oh,
You gotta
okay,
listen to it. I gotta know what's going on. I miss
Football season, baseball season, it just doesn't stop.
Yeah, they're all blending together these days. But the show is its own institution, Curtis. You have to give nod to the show first.
Hashtag WWJCD.
Yes. What would Joby and Curtis drink?
Right. Happy Hour with, yeah.
Yeah.
All the good stuff. So,
You know who came up with that one, though?
That's right. Stephen Gertman right here from his. So, wait. CEO, right?
President.
CEO and or president, yeah.
President,
And
master distiller of Ascendant Spirits Distillery, Buellton, California. Do a search for Ascendant Spirits or just go directly to ascendantspirits.com and you'll find everything you need to know about Ascendant Spirits.
Use that as the hub because not all your handles match up thanks to Twitter's limitation on character spacing, the number of characters involved.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't thinking, well, will this fit for Twitter when I came
No,
up with the
you
name?
know what? It's fine. My poor business name is missing a letter and is inconsistent with all the platforms on Twitter because they won't give me enough characters.
Right.
So, just go to ascendantspirits.com.
You can find all the stuff.
Jump off from there.
And then also, I would encourage you to go back and listen to find past episodes of Happy Hour with Joby and Curtis and find the second episode.
The second broadcast / first recording.
Minus the lost episode with Steven, where we talk about Breaker Bourbon, we talk about white lining, and the caviar lime, or as we're trying to brand it away from, but finger lime, so maybe caviar limes by the other name, just in case. So you can find out all about, and then we talk in depth with Steven about his process, how he got started in Buellton, and all that kind of good stuff. And so that's kind of why we're glancing over all of that this time.
We're Glaze donating that one. Because
Glaze donating?
Glaze donating.
Yeah, it did sound like donate. But
yeah. But you're going to want to know about that process in order to really appreciate what's just wafting through this space right now. This aroma of this product is fantastic. This is like Jolly Rancher style candy.
Well, this is our Pink Lightning. It was actually something that we were originally designing for more of our female demographic, but then we were doing some focus group testing. Women said that our packaging was way too femme, and a bunch of guys were like, I want to taste some strawberry moonshine.
That sounds awfully backward.
And when we do events, tasting events, it's one of the ones that a lot of guys actually go for, and that you wouldn't expect them to. And I even had ones where they're like, yeah, don't tell anyone, but I'm going to try the Pink Lightning.
I want to pink ones.
There's probably jokes and innuendos throughout.
Maybe.
But what is Pink Lightning?
Pink Lightning is the same as our Silver Lightning corn whiskey or moonshine, and then we flavor it with fresh, organic Santa Maria strawberries.
Okay,
so I literally drive out into the fields and get the strawberries the day they're picked, bring them back, process them immediately, and...
Well, again, the aroma coming off is like a fresh strawberry, and we're spoiled here in Southern California during the summer with strawberries. But through past discussions, I know that strawberries are pretty volatile, both in brewing and in distilling, as a flavor component and an ingredient. Without giving any trade secrets away and what you've been able to master, how are you doing that? How are you getting strawberry so intense in this glass and having it hold up?
Trade secret.
Trade secret, a lot of experimentation.
Okay.
There was some real failures early on. And then I'm actually lucky I have a really top-notch food scientist who does some consulting with me, who's Professor Emeritus from Cal Poly up in San Luis. And We did a lot of experiments together, and we figured out how to really achieve more stable product. So with this you get the strawberry flavor, but you still also get that intense corn whiskey element to it as well.
Well, I think, Jason, you hit it straight on when you said it was a Jolly Rancher sort of aroma, and it is. It has that really sweet aroma that is reminiscent of maybe even a little watermelon to me, just a little bit, but the flavor is all super ripe up front until it washes out, the alcohol washes it away.
Yeah.
But it's the only place I've ever had a strawberry that tastes like this is here. I mean, and I grew up in South Dakota, and some people would grow strawberries in their yards, and those were the best ones we could get around. But I'd never had a strawberry until I moved here. The ones that are just so incredibly sweet.
You
and
can
that's
smell
what
it in the air around in this area.
Well, and that's what this is up front. It's that over super ripe. I don't want overripe sounds fermented almost. But
there's
it's
a heavy
just
sweetness that
yeah,
comes
it
out.
is so in your face. And if you don't know what a ripe strawberry tastes like, this is you can get a hint of it.
I like that you touched on the watermelon component too, because it's a complex Jolly Rancher. I mean, we're gonna keep going back to that. Hopefully, that's not offensive to you, Stephen. But it takes
People
me
taste
back
what they taste.
when I was a kid in grade school and junior high, and we had the little candy closet or the candy truck that you could grab stuff at lunch and after school for the ride home. 50 cents gets you a Jolly Rancher stick. The watermelon and the strawberries were right on with this. There's that great kind of crisp, sugary sweetness, but with a strong fruit influence. It's not artificial, and it reminds me of the clear and gold packaging right from the Jolly Rancher stick.
I'd like to give a shout out to my buddy James at Ventura Limoncello. Early on, I did an event right after we made this, and his wife was there doing tastings of the limoncello, and all of a sudden it dawned on me, ooh, I want to try mixing some limoncello with this, and just the two together make like this boozy strawberry lemonade that is.
Are you working on a collaboration together?
We don't we don't collaborate on actual beverages, but we'll often try and
On a cocktail
collaborate
recipe.
on cocktail stuff.
Okay.
Because one of the things, even James has been on the show several times, and we've had a couple of his iterations of different products, and one of them was a strawberry, but it ends up being, it ends up looking curdled, and so with the cream and everything else that he had in his liqueurs, and so, obviously there's no cream or anything else in this, so and there's no liqueur about this. This is a straight out spirit. So
Right. This is at a full 80 proof.
This is a nice soft kind of passion fruit, or maybe even like a cantaloupe kind of color. It's reminiscent of a reddish strawberry, but it's a light pink rosé direction. Are you getting that from the strawberries themselves, or are you adding some coloring from other ingredients?
Absolutely. There's no additives
Okay.
of any sort that we really use with any of our products. So there's no colors or artificial or natural, as they're described, flavors that are made in laboratories. So all the color in this comes from the actual fresh strawberries that we use.
I suppose you could call any flavor natural flavor because it's just what you're tasting naturally. So, so I mean, you could hide behind that fairly easily. I'm talking about
In terms of euphemisms.
right. Well, and I'm just talking about, say, Jolly Ranchers, where there would be natural and artificial flavors, and
Right.
the quote unquote natural flavors.
It really just means that they have to exist somewhere in
Yeah,
nature.
right. Yeah, it kind of tastes like that. Yeah, sure. So, as I'm looking at this, I'm kind of spinning into maybe a cocktail. And so we talked a little earlier about, in a previous episode, about you've got expansion in 28 states.
About 20 at this point.
Okay, so we've got...
He's getting excited.
It's
Like,
okay. We can go to
find
28.
you can find Ascendant Spirits in 20 states. So is that your whole lineup? Can pink be found in these?
No, it's the biggest push out, of course, was because as we're aware, and many of the listeners may be, that whiskey is just such a hot category. The bourbon was really sort of the tip of the spear there. But in many other states, our other products are available as well, and we're growing that the bourbon sort of opens the door for us to get the rest of the portfolio in. And the moonshines are in some ways the most difficult to get started in, because the category has been sort of so blown up with some of these, neutral grain spirits products that have all these artificial flavors and colors and all that other nonsense. So.
And we've had several of those in the past that just so. I'm spinning into cocktails. So
Yes.
So you've been, you've said that this is kind of a gender bending, demographic pleasing sort of beverage.
Sure.
Cocktails. I can see this having applications in plenty of Cosmo-esque styles, and maybe not that one in particular, but general, a big martini kind of serving. Here you go.
Most definitely. This is an easy win for some kind of spritzer mix with some fresh basil, or taking it more towards something with other types of herbs and a sweet. Almost, there's some cocktails and martinis, like you're talking about, Curtis, that'll do a balsamic drizzle or something reduction based or chocolate based that will let you shake with something of intensity and flavor like this. This is an easy one.
That's certainly one that my man Jeremy Lake had experimented with early on. That he made a really great cocktail, which he, in a very cocky fashion, named the Ideal Cocktail, which was with the Pink Lightning, some creme de cacao, actually a little bit of the two vodkas, the caviar lime and the ghost chili, some fresh mint, and I think that was.
Don't give away all the ingredients.
Oh well, it'll be published shortly in the Tasting Panel magazine.
Excellent. Make them find a copy.
Well, one of the things I think you hit on with the balsamic vinegar, and one of my favorite fresh sorts of desserts that I didn't discover until I was in California again, was vanilla ice cream, strawberries, and a really thick balsamic vinegar on top of it. And I can just see a chocolate balsamic, maybe something that's just a little bit tart inside, in that mix. This is just, it's asking for that.
You mentioned the magazine and the recipe coming out. Obviously, we're talking about the diversity of this product just based on our really short tasting right now during this episode, but are you doing any kind of consultation with businesses around the distillery or with bars that are saying, hey, that's neat, but tell me how to use it?
We certainly like to provide them information if they're curious on trying to figure out more. That's one of the reasons why we employ someone like Jeremy for his expertise. But often there's a lot of places there. Don't tell me how to do it.
Just give me the bottle and I'll figure it out.
Yeah, my kung fu's good enough on its own. Sort of thing. Where we don't want to beat people over the head and tell them how they have to use it.
Yeah, because I can imagine this is an easy sell just out of the bottle, but then again, if they're like, well,
what do I do with it?
Yeah.
And then we want to have some go-to sort of simple things that are easy to do. Of course, there's places that like doing those half-hour cocktails where, you're waiting, and you order a second one and you've been there for 3 hours already.
Right.
But usually we like trying to stick to rather simple things that express the spirit well, and you're not hiding it behind 10 other mixers or something.
One of the things I want to, it's going to be a total left turn for you, but I want to talk about the distillery a little bit and where this product's being made. I've been fortunate enough to tour the facility because we're only an hour or so away. The staff there is a good staff. They talk about the product. They're passionate about the product. If someone wanted to visit the distillery and see Pink Lightning and see the Semper Fi that we talked about in the past episode, what can they expect? How can they get there? What kind of experience will they have coming to the Ascendant Distillery?
Well, right now we're open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So they can come Fridays 4 to 8, Saturdays and Sundays 1 to 7. The tasting room is open. They can taste 6 of our current 8 expressions that we have. That's all we're allowed to legally taste.
Okay. Can I pause real quick? Why do you use the word expression? Tell us what that means.
Expression, I mean the 8 different spirits that we have to offer. So we have the 4 different vodkas and the 4 different whiskeys that we have in the tasting room right now that we produce. And We also give tours of the facility. Don't be shy to ask if you want a tour. We're usually us elves in the back working, making whiskey or something. And if you have
Is there a giant oak tree back there?
No, but there is a huge copper still that's really cool to check out.
Right, it's right there.
Yeah, it's in the photo.
But if I'm not, you can feel free to certainly ask for me. I'm often there. I'm usually there.
You have a cot in the back, right? We talked about this.
I actually do have a cot in the back. Sometimes when you taste a bunch of whiskey, you need a cot. But it's not out on display or anything.
It's not available for rent.
No.
Right. But we love having people through. We love having groups up. We've had many bachelorette parties, birthday parties, all sorts of stuff. People come through, and they're always welcome. We love educating people, telling them more about what we do, showing them the facility, letting them take as many photos as they want, and everyone should always feel welcome.
Very cool.
I think I want to hang out when there's a bachelor party there and they're getting crazy on Pink Lightning.
Why would you not want to hang out when there's a bachelorette party
Just
there?
because I think it would be fun to see a bunch of guys getting hammered on pink juice. That's all.
That's a great time to break. You can.
I was just saying.
Yeah, you go up, check out Ascendant Spirits, tour the distillery. I highly recommend it. They're in Buellton, California. Go to ascendantspirits.com and find out how to get there, what the products they offer, and all the great social media platforms where you can keep track of them. Because this is a really cool offering, and I think there are a lot of uses like we talked about.
Yeah, I'm watching you concentrate really hard.
The wheels are turning. And it was that Semper Fi that started fogging things up.
So, make sure that when you're listening to this, you obviously give us a like and all that kind of stuff. But then reach out to Steven as well and ask, I'm guessing you have a store locator on the website or at least a listing of the states that you can get it in.
We have a store locator where we're sort of constantly updating at this point because we're adding new places so rapidly. So sometimes there's a little lag because we don't necessarily get that information back from that state as quickly as we'd like. Sure. So like we had someone asking, where's the next vodka we're going to taste tonight? And we're like, we don't know.
Yeah. And when there's some states that the state themselves is managing the distribution of these spirits. So, go to the website, check it out, and stay tuned for the next episode because we've got 2 vodka expressions. I'm going to start using that more.
I do like that.
That we're going to talk about and taste, and I think you're going to be surprised by some of the ingredients. So stay tuned to Happy Hour with Joby and Curtis, and you're going to hear more from Steven Gertman and Ascendant Spirits.
All right. We'll see you in a bit.
# what would Jason
Hey, thanks for listening to Happy Hour with Joby and Curtis. If you like this podcast, make sure you like us on iTunes. You can also find us on Facebook under Happy Hour with Joby and Curtis. Give us a like and share it with all your friends. We'd appreciate it. Cheers!